Hello, football fans. Welcome back to Goalside. Unless you've been hiding under a rock for the past few years or simply don't like reading about or watching English football. More specifically, the Premier League. You probably have an idea of what Manchester City has accomplished in recent times, especially after the arrival of Pep Guardiola. They've gone from being a small, insignificant team in the 90s and early 2000s to becoming quite decent in the early 2010s, but have now risen an entire level and are taking hold of the English League competition while breaking all of the records known to the world. 2 immense title wins in a row, over 100 goals scored per season, an incredible improvement on players that other managers had disregarded. Pep is the Goliath of the PL, and everybody knows it. Yet, it's important to note that this video is not about Manchester City, despite this initial introduction. We just needed you to understand the context. We needed you to understand how impressive the subject of this video is. A player who, always having shown signs of greatness, suddenly burst onto the scene against Manchester City on October 6, 2019, cutting the citizens apart like a hot knife through butter, shocking the world of football and blowing away any predictions the experts had on the outcome of the match. Pep Guardiola's men met their match that day at the Etihad. The Goliath of Manchester finally met their David, and his name is Adama Traore. A Wolverhampton Wanderers star, this player looks more like a human tank than a young, pacey winger, and we mean this as a compliment. He can run fast, dribble, create chances, and has the strength to push past any center back or fullback unfortunate enough to be tasked with marking him. Traore is the type of player any team wishes to have on the bench for when the going gets tough. But who is he really? Where did this incredibly powerful and greatly dangerous player come from? How did his story begin? Adama Traore is rarely analyzed as an individual, and we can bet you barely know anything about him. Did you have any idea that he was actually trained by the best coaches at FC Barcelona? Or that he dreamed to be like Lionel Messi, La Pulga, in changing the landscape of football as a Culé player? This is the story of Adama Traore Diarra, everything you will ever need to know about the deadly winger that put fear into Pep Guardiola's heart. Adama was born on January 25, 1996 in a Catalonian municipality named Le Hospitalet. You can find this region just southwest of Barcelona. It's the second most populated city in all of Catalonia and one of the most densely populated in the entirety of Europe. It was here that Traore's parents, Baba and Fatoumata, had decided to establish themselves with an older child. They came from Mali, a landlocked country in West Africa which didn't offer them the future that they desired. Spain, however, was an opportunity for them and for any children that they had. It was a symbol of hope. Adama grew up in a home where he didn't want for anything, but wasn't extremely wealthy either. He did, however, have the opportunity to begin playing football, playing first with his older brother Moha and then with his younger sister Esa. They felt immensely fortunate to be growing up only a stone's throw away from where FC Barcelona had their stadium and training grounds, and Adama prayed each day that he would eventually make his way to playing with the stars at the Camp Nou. It was a dream that would partially come true, though he did not yet know it. His first encounter with the beautiful game was alongside his brother Moha as the two began practicing on the fields of the CE Le Hospitalet. At this point in time, the team was in the 3rd tier of Spanish football and is now in the 4th, and was known for helping develop certain talents that would go on to play their trades at FC Barcelona. The two showed amazing signs of progress and were considered to be talented by all the coaches at the club. Their parents also believed in them and encouraged them to work harder and dream bigger. It would work out eventually. Adama, however, was the better of the two. He was better on the ball, quicker, stronger, and more determined to succeed than Moha, and it may have been that being the younger brother put a little more pressure on him to accomplish his goals. In 2004, all of the work found its fruitful results when somebody at FC Barcelona saw the younger Traore playing and decided that the 8-year-old was destined for bigger things. The invitation from FC Barcelona's legendary academy, La Masia, didn't take long to arrive, and the whole family knew that this was serious business. FC Barcelona isn't a place for weak wills or party animals. It was, is, and will continue to be a club with discipline. And the Traore family knew that young Adama would have to adhere to this philosophy if he wanted to succeed. He accepted the challenge and joined the academy, already looking forward to the moment when he would be promoted to their first team, although there was a long time to go before that would occur. Growing up in this year, 2004, Adama and his fellow academy teammates were honored with watching academy graduate Lionel Messi tearing La Liga apart and revealing to the world the first signs that he would become the joint best, or perhaps best, player in the world during his career. It was another reason to want to do well at La Masia. Playing with Leo Messi would be a true honor. Adama was known as Usain Bolt during his time at the academy, since his speed was unrivaled, even though his muscled form made him look more like a slow, powerful center back or midfielder. The young Traore would watch as each year other boys failed to meet the standards of the academy and were dropped. He, on the other hand, could only keep climbing up the ranks with each passing season, learning more and adapting better than he ever had. He was placed in teams beyond his age group and often caused trouble to players older than him by at least a year or two. Coaches considered his best position to be on the right since his early days, but he was mostly used as a right back or wing back. In October of the year 2013, when Adama was 17, he finally got the call-up to Barcelona's B team and made his debut in a defeat against SD Ponferradina. His next match was not much better, as he was sent off for a hard challenge that conceded a penalty in a 3-0 loss. Any other boy would have been destroyed by these two performances, but Adama was already looking at his first great chance to impress the big guys at FC Barcelona, and it would arrive. He trained hard and showed that neither the debut defeat or red card had affected him, and before long he was informed that the first team were interested in giving him an appearance. Adama couldn't believe it. Only 2 weeks after the 3-0 defeat, he was named on the bench of an FC Barcelona La Liga game, in which he came on to replace Neymar in a victory over Granada CF. As if this wasn't overwhelming enough, he would play in the UEFA Champions League only 3 days later, on October 26th, replacing Fabregas in a group stage defeat against AFC Ajax. Things would improve for him further, though, as he started for Barcelona's under-19s in the UEFA Youth League, scoring twice as his side lifted the trophy. It would be one of the last important memories he'd have at Barcelona, as he, along with a goal he scored with the first team in a massive 8-1 win over Huesca in the Copa del Rey. His club, unfortunately, knew how good he was, but considered he needed further development elsewhere before he could be considered for anything else. This led Traore to be sold to Premier League club Aston Villa for a €10 million fee that could rise to $12 million. Attached to his contract was a 3-year buyback clause in case he proved to be good enough for the Catalonian side. Unfortunately, his time at Aston Villa turned sour fast. His debut was a disaster, as he practically assisted an own goal only 8 minutes after he had been substituted on. It was a hard emotional blow that he never seemed to recover from. He scored his first goal in a 5-3 home win in the League Cup, but was unable to make a difference in the following matches aside from a lonely assist, and was dropped from the team for indiscipline and watched helplessly as Aston Villa were relegated at the end of the season. Fortunately, Aitor Karanka, manager at Middlesbrough, considered that Traore still had a lot to prove, and the young player was signed for a fee of over €8 million. His first season was a disaster, and no, we are not being unfair with Traore. He played 31 matches without scoring a single goal, and it became a recurring theme among analysts and fans to scratch their heads at this player. After all, he was fast and strong, had great dribbling and decent vision, but his end product was practically non-existent. He couldn't score, couldn't really assist either, and seemed to only offer the possibility of running past fullbacks. A lot. Middlesbrough were relegated, and Adama had to accept that it was time to play in the Championship. However, the next season, 2017-18, soon arrived, and with it, new managers did as well. Gary Monk and Tony Pulis brought different dimensions to a typically boring Middlesbrough side, and Traore was able to reveal what other skills he had in his locker. He transformed his time at Borough completely this season, scoring 5 important goals and racking up an impressive 10 assists, helping his side reach the Championship playoffs, where he would be knocked out by Aston Villa in a sad twist of events. It didn't matter, though, as the club's fans now loved him and helped him win the hat trick of personal achievements: Middlesbrough's Fans Player of the Year, Young Player of the Year, and Players Player of the Year. The young Traore wouldn't even have to be stuck in the Championship for a whole season either, having been promoted while watching this rapid, creative, and very strong winger. Wolverhampton Wanderers' Nuno Espirito Santo decided that Traore was the missing piece in his attacking puzzle and urged Wolves' board to sign him up. At the time of creating this video, Adama has scored only 3 goals for Wolverhampton Wanderers, but it was his aforementioned performance against Manchester City that proved all doubters wrong. With a speed, tricky movement, and endless determination that would make even the world's greatest players envious, Adama Traore left Guardiola's defenders eating grass as he sped past them during 2 lethal counterattacks and scored the goals that would put him on all the headlines. Excellent ball control, strength, composure, and self-belief were decisive, and City fans were left with their jaws hanging open on that Sunday afternoon. A deadly player who has shown great development over his career and looks like he's still got a lot to prove before he hits 30. He's almost 24 right now, in case you're wondering. Adama looks to be a true gem that may one day return to FC Barcelona and prove everybody wrong. A future world best? Probably not, but Traore certainly has the potential in him to play among them. Cross your fingers for this one. He can be world-class if he keeps his head down and unlocks everything he's got hidden. Furthermore, he has starred for Spain at the under-16, under-17, under-19, and under-21 levels, and may go on to become a Spanish legend if he can be consistent and decide on what his role truly is in a team. Time will tell. This has been all about Adama Traore, and we hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to subscribe to Goalside. We'll see you right back here for the next video.